Over.
Namo Vitragai.
Namo Vitragai.
Namo Arihantanam.
Namo Arihantanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Vajjayanam.
Namo Vajjayanam.
Namo Loe Savva Sahunam.
Namo Loe Savva Sahunam.
Aso Panchana Mukkaro.
Aiso Panchana Mukkaro.
Savva Pavappanasano.
Savva Pavappanasano.
Mangalanam Cha Savvesim.
Mangalanam Cha Savvesim.
Padamam Havai Mangalam.
Padvam Havai Mangalam.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand.
Hey, Sachidanand. Everybody, welcome to the English Satsang. And while people, not much are thinking, I have a question, Deepakanandji. We are in 9 days of pious days. So it's called Navratri. So please tell us the significance of Navratri and what Aradhana we should be doing.
Very good. See, first of all, this Navratri means 9 nights. At the end of the hard spiritual cleansing, what you do in these 9 days, the 10th day come as Vijaya Dashmi, there is victory, and we celebrate that victory. And this Navratri during the year, it comes 4 times. Typically, it comes in the junction between 2 seasons. So it's like you are preparing yourself for the next season. So that is the basic thing. And during this 9 days, we worship and do spiritual, how would you say that, cleansing art during these 9 days by worshipping the 9 different forms of Durga Mata. Now, Ma Durga is a goddess of perfection, normality, as it is said, Sahajta. When we are not normal, we are not healthy, we are not happy. So for us to be normal, healthy, and happy, we worship Goddess Durga in these different forms. The first night is identified as the form is called Shaila Putri. It means daughter of the mountains. Now, mountain as such is part of the nature, and indirectly it reveals that we are also part of the nature. Our mind, speech, body assembly, that is our body self, human body, is also part of the nature. And when we understand that, then there are certain things which we are supposed to do, in the sense that this Shailputri as manifestation of Goddess Durga it's depicted by she's holding Trishul, that is three-dent weapon in her hand, and a lotus in the other hand, and she's supposed to ride on a bull, which is called Nandiji. And this is one of the form of Parvati ji. It is understood as she was born as daughter of Himalayas, and that's why she's called as Shailaputri. And the goal is that in the worldly life, we come across mental, physical, and outside suffering, and how with right understanding, like a lotus, we can remain totally separate from these three forms of suffering with right worship, what it means by right understanding. So this is about Shailaputri. The second day is supposed to be we worship the second form called Brahmacharini. Now Brahmacharini, Brahma means soul, and Charini means one who moves around the soul. It will say not really moves around the soul, it's like lives as soul. And due to this, it is depicted by goddess Brahmacharini as walking barefoot with Rudraksh mala. So it is a sign of worship that she is worshipping Shiva, the Lord, in one hand, and a sacred vessel called Kamandal in the other. And this is the meditative form of goddess, which symbolizes goddess Parvati, that she is in deep meditation to please and invoke Lord Shiva. The third day is the goddess form is called Chandra Kanta Mataji, and she is depicted by fierce 10-armed goddess with a crescent moon on her forehead, and the third eye called the eye of wisdom or the eye of Shiva open. She is shown as riding on a tiger to destroy all evils and wicked. Now, these evils and wicked is not outside, but these evils and wickedness is within us that causes problem outside. So with this, all 10 different weapons are shown in our hands. So this is how we worship. What it means, our mind, speech, body self is nothing but power or Shakti, and Shiva is the divine light of God. Shiva cannot be complete without Parvati, without Prakriti, without mind, speech and body. That is why the feeling of completion or feeling of completeness, perfection is experienced in the body where this Prakriti, our mind, speech, body becomes perfect, normal, healthy, and it fights away all the weaknesses. And that's why it is called Chandra Kanta. Now, Chandra is the depiction that she has known herself who she is, or one who has known himself who he is. So that's how, with the weapon of the 5 agnas, what we have got through Dada Bhagwan, following obediently, we will reach this perfection. The fourth one is identified as the form is called Kushmanda. Kushmanda. Now, it is like, it is said that it is made from three words like little, warmth, and egg. So actually, it is like, means that she is creator of the universe. So with the focus on Lord Shiva, when we are following, we are being totally obedient to Lord Shiva, then we create universe such that everyone is happy, including ourselves. So like how Dada Bhagwan has given the 9 projections, 9 diamonds, code of conduct, and the prayer to the pure soul, and all the other prayers what he has given as worship, it is not ritual, but it is our inner feeling, inner decision that that's what we want to do. And that's how we create universe for ourselves that is perfect, where everyone is happy. Then the fifth one is Skandamata. The form is worshipped on the 5th day, and she's said to be a deity of with 4 arms. It is depiction, but what it really means is she is carrying her child, Kartikeya. So it is like now we can understand that after marriage, after her marriage with Shiva, what that form or the kid that is born out of knowledge, being connected with Shiva, is Kartikeya. So now Kartikeya is a very powerful kid. He's totally devoted to Lord Shiva and Parvati, and it's very powerful. He fights all the wicked and all the evils. So we can understand that how through depiction of such human indication that they have given us a wonderful worship so that we become perfect. Then for the 6th day, the form is we worship Katyayani. These are depicted in Shiva Puran over a large scale of life form. So here she is like becomes daughter of Katyayan. Katyayan is a sage, and it is a form of Shakti. It is also called as warrior goddess. So basically, we have to learn to fight our weaknesses. Where, as Dada Bhagwan has said, we are wholly and solely responsible for ourselves, no one else. So with this understanding and this worship, we fight our weaknesses and we become perfect. So it is said that if you want to reach Lord Shiva, your inner self, then you have to surpass all your weaknesses and reach the center which is there within you only. It is not outside. But these different forms, as you free yourself from your weaknesses, that's how you become perfect, and your inner strength will drive away all your weaknesses. The 7th one is Kal Ratri, and it is said that she is of a dark color, and she embraces this dark complexion to fight the demons. Now the demons are not outside, demons are inside, and with these, and in all these different forms, she is shown to carry different weapons. But we must understand that all these different weapons truly means that it is it helps to fight your weaknesses. That is the idea. not physical weapons, but this is what it means. So Navratri means you fight away the darkness from within you, and the sunrise brings prosperity, peace and happiness, bliss to all. The eighth one is Maha Gauri. It is also called Durga Ashtami and dedicated to goddess Maha Gauri. And she rides on a bull or an elephant. Again, so we can say that she is shown to carry Damru sound. Now, we have to fight our weakness. So we have to learn to deal with ourselves. So this is where, like how Dada Bhagwan is shown, go and talk to yourself by talking yourself in front of the mirror. Even if you have to scold yourself, do it. So this is what it is. We have to fight our weaknesses, and that's how we become perfect. The last one, ninth day, is the final day, and it is the form of Siddhi Datri. What does it mean? The bestower of the infinite that can never be taken away from us. This is here where our Prakriti, mind, speech, body assembly, our relative self becomes 100% perfect. 100% perfect. So it is depicted by the goddess who is four-armed and sitting on a lotus. Now, sitting on a lotus, we can understand that total experience of separation is that, and different weapons are also shown that she's carrying, and it is the indication or depiction of total perfection. So this is how when we cross this, our own weaknesses, fight our weaknesses with such worship. Now, worshipping truly, what Dada has very nicely said, that we become perceiver of our weaknesses, and when the third eye of wisdom opens, we start seeing our own mistakes. So gradually, we learn to fight our own weaknesses, and that's how we become perfect. And when that happens, then that is the finality. It is said, with the grace of Dada Bhagwan, we get self-realization, and through the following of the five agnas, our relative self become perfect. And that's how we end up. And Dada has given this connection, our connection with Lord Simandar Swami Bhagwan, because without that, you cannot become perfect unless you see that perfection with your naked eyes. And that is a path what Dada has shown us through worshipping Lord Simandar Swami and establishing a great connection, keeping in witness Dada Bhagwan, because we cannot connect ourselves directly. It is only through the medium of Dada Bhagwan, because he has direct connectivity. And by keeping him as witness, we are connecting ourselves, and that's how we will have our final darshan, divine sight of Sri Simandar Swami, where all our the last wheels of ignorance, we can say, not really ignorance, but obstacles or layers of knowledge that is blocking our knowledge will open, and we will attain absoluteness, that is Keval Gyan. So we can understand that this worship or this inner Purusharth, the way Dada has given us so simply, is just wonderful, and we can really understand it very well. Jai Satchidanand.
It is a very good, Deepakanandji, this was very good, enlightening. There's a question, but before we go to Surajbhai's question, you mentioned about Dada Bhagwan, and going through Dada Bhagwan. What is that Dada Bhagwan you're talking about?
Very good. Now, as we have been talking about Dada Bhagwan, uh, his worldly name was A.M. Patel. He was a businessman who hailed from Bhadran, a village from Anand district in Gujarat, and he was contractor by his profession, but he lived all his life through inner quest of knowing the truth, finding the truth, experiencing the truth, and his finality came in 1958 when he was 50 years old, that on a station, railway station of Surat, another station in Gujarat, that is called South Gujarat, and that's where this enlightenment came to him naturally, and he came to know how is the world running, what is karma, what is bondage, what is freedom, how can one free himself or herself from the bondage of karma and attain perfection and enjoy bliss in this mortal world. And that is why it is said that he, although he lived as a bodily individual, but inside he was totally separate individual as knowledge. So it is knowledge manifested in its fullest form, and because of his perseverance, he could explain every question that were posed to him, and we all got final answers and the right path to liberation.
So, but why, if he was A.M. Patel, Ambalal Patel, why Dada Bhagwan though?
Right. Now again, his worldly name was Dada Bhagwan. But the person who recognized him and who got the first enlightenment from him turned out to be his nephew's son. So, he turned out to be in relation, he was his grandfather. Dada in Gujarati language means grandfather. So, he was calling him that you are not just my Dada, but you are my God who enlightened me. Like how Lord Krishna enlightened Arjuna. So he said that you are not just in relation, yes, you are my Dada, but you are my Bhagwan. But now Bhagwan means which Bhagwan? So eventually it turned out to be like he started calling him as Dada Bhagwan. And that time Dada also said that the first Tirthankar Bhagwan of this half cycle of the 24 absolutes who come on this Bharat Kshetra where we all are living, he was the first one. He was also called Rushabdev Dada Bhagwan. And he said that the same Dada Bhagwan has opened within him, and that light of knowledge of Dada Bhagwan is showing all his mistakes, and with great generosity, he corrects all the mistakes which are shown by the inner Dada Bhagwan as and when they appear. And that's how he said, I am cleansing myself. I have reached 356 degrees of that perfection. 4 degrees I'm falling short, and somehow I didn't finish those 4 degrees, and that's how I became available to the world, and I'm sharing my experience how one can become perfect, one can really progress in the path of liberation very easily, even if you are a householder. Doesn't matter whether you are a householder or a renunciator, uh, but what is important is you must have that vision, that wisdom of knowledge. And if there were people, or who are wise, but they cannot bestow or they cannot impart that vision with which they are seeing or they are watching or they are experiencing themselves. So he has that great ability simply out of grace that he was able to open our vision, that is the third eye of Shiva.
Oh, very good. So, but I have also heard many people say that he always used to say that this body is M. Patel, but what is manifested inside is Dada Bhagwan, which is also in you, and you can also manifest and be Dada Bhagwan. Is that true?
Exactly, that's what he said, that it is not that only I am Dada Bhagwan. You, within you, that same divinity prevails, but you are not aware of that. And once you become aware of that and you start connecting yourself, you will also experience the same bliss, peace, and perfection, and rather freedom within your own body self while living in this worldly life in a householder surrounding.
Oh, very good. So, before Suresh, bhai, one more final question. You know, you talked about all the nine Matajis, a form of Matajis, and the ninth one you said was Siddhatri. So,
Siddhi Datri,
sorry,
that means the
Siddhidatri.
bestower of Siddhi.
Yeah, so, can we say that that state was also similar to Dada Bhagwan A.M. Patel?
Yes, you can say that, but world doesn't like that. But we who have experienced that divinity in Dada Bhagwan and we were blessed by that same divinity and we are experiencing that same place almost. Yes, one thing is that we still have weaknesses we need to eradicate and we are working on it. But we are experiencing that. So we are fortunate that we were able to see the living form of Siddhidatri. But one thing is there, his name as Dada Bhagwan is not name, just mere name. He has lot of, it is called praise karma, just, yes, nam. I don't know how to put it in English, but it is Yash Nam. So Dada Bhagwan Yash Nam is so powerful, and he had said that the same word of Dada Bhagwan is going to be effective for the next half cycle, whole where again 24 Tirthankar Bhagwans will come on this pious land of Bharakshetra and guide people towards liberation. So we can always uh, pull the chain, pull the bell, ring the bell of Dada Bhagwan anytime you want, because he says it is not my property. This body is nature's gift. I just happen to be here and I have this enlightenment and I could not finish my journey. So I was available for you. With that lapse of 4 degrees, you all got benefited. That's how. So, and he said that he is center of every religion as knowledge. And that knowing power, that knowing functionality exists in every living form, which is part and parcel of the pure soul with which we or every living being survives. So that divinity is there in every living form, but in human form, it opens and manifests in its fullest form, and that's how we get benefited. We should take advantage of that human life, what we have got, even body, what we have got, while living in this perishable, worldly surrounding.
Wonderful, wonderful. Good, very good knowledge. Now we go to questions. Suresh bhai?
Jai Sachidanand.